Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermes and grocery bags. So today I wanted to do a video about 3 bags I would and 3 bags I wouldn't be comfortable taking into Amsterdam for a day. For like a day of shopping or visiting a museum or just walking around a bit, stuff like that, like the usual things that you might be doing on your holiday. I can imagine this might also be useful input for other big cities because the things I'm going to be talking about are not very specific to Amsterdam per se, I guess. But because Amsterdam is a city that I do visit quite a bit, it is at least a city that I feel comfortable talking about. So if you like traveling with your contemporary or luxury bags and you're planning to visit Amsterdam or Europe, perhaps in a more general sense, this could be an interesting video, hopefully. Honestly, I consider Amsterdam to be a pretty safe place, especially during the daytime. In Amsterdam, I think it would be kind of hard to wander off into an area where you really shouldn't be and where you would feel unsafe or where you would be unsafe wearing luxury bags. But it is a bit of a bigger city, and in that sense it does have the issues of the bigger cities, right? The main one being pickpockets. So I think this would count for major cities in Europe like Barcelona or Milan, for example, or Paris, and that's what we'll be focusing on today. So a couple of bags that I wouldn't be wearing are bags that are pretty open. For example, I have my YSL East-West tote over here. This is just kept together with a magnetic closure. I have some stuffing in here, as you can see. This is a really open bag. And yes, I will wear this to work, but first of all, going to work, I think is slightly different than going out for the day, because I will just be pacing and I'll be walking outside for like 15 minutes. And it's not like I'm just strolling, being distracted. But nevertheless, I will always wear this with some sort of pouch or organizer for my bag that has a zipper, just to make sure I can keep everything together in this bag. I think one other bag that sort of security nightmares are made up of is the Loewe Hammock. If you wear this handheld, it is fairly secure, but probably if you're out for the day, you're not going to hold a bag in your hand all day long. It does come with this shoulder strap, but then if you're wearing it over the shoulder, it's just going to be very, very open. Also, in my opinion, you cannot really adjust the strap to be that short on this bag that you can kind of wear it more safely under your arm. It's always going to feel, at least in my opinion, a bit out of sight. When I wear this bag to work, I will usually just wear a top handle because I'm only wearing it for a little bit and not for a very long time. I love this bag. It does wear very comfortably over the shoulder, but this one I would say is just going to be one that is way too open. Then another one I wouldn't be recommending, which may come a bit as a surprise, but it's the Mulberry Alexa in a mini size. This bag is very, very fidgety, and in that sense you could say it is very secure. So it has 2 magnetic clasps, and then also it has the postman lock over here. But because it is so fidgety, it's actually also a bit of a risk, because if you have to go in and out of your bag the whole time, for example, let's say you grab your phone out of your bag to make one picture, odds are that you're just going to leave it open while you were making that picture. You're gonna get distracted, and in the meanwhile somebody else might be on the lookout for the content of your bag. And personally, if this bag is not locked up, I don't think it is really secure enough. So yes, very secure bag if you have it closed up, but in my personal opinion, only carry this if you know you're going to tie it back up again the whole time. Also, if it turns out that you're getting annoyed because you have to tie it back up all the time and you end up sticking stuff in your pockets, that is also going to be a security risk, because usually your pockets are going to be a lot more accessible than this closed bag. Then moving over to the bags I do think are a good idea. Starting off with this Loewe puzzle. This is a bag that you can wear crossbody, and I think crossbody is preferably the way to go, because then somebody can also not pull the bag off your shoulder or out of your hand. It has this very easily accessible zipper closure. Again, this bag is filled with stuffing, but also let's say that you do have it open for a little bit, you at least still have it covered by the flap, and it doesn't really become a gaping hole if the zipper is open. But I think this is just so easy to open and close. That's not going to be so much of a hassle getting your stuff in and out of here. Also, this Loewe puzzle, it is in a small size. Small sizes as far as I know, they still come with this smaller zippered pocket on the back, so that is also really nice if you need something that needs to be perhaps even a bit more secure, so leaning against your body, but you still want to have easily accessible. Then this hidden pocket can actually be a really nice detail. One other bag that I really like is this Wandler Maggie bag. This can hold quite a lot, I've noticed, and if you are wearing this as a crossbody bag, or it's then perhaps a bit more of a sling bag, it feels really secure to me. It's also easily accessible, like the zipper. It runs smoothly just because this bag is not like super structured. It can get caught up a little bit sometimes, but overall zipper runs nicely. It's going to be very close to your body. It is again not going to be a wide open hole if you have it open. You also don't have to open it all the way to get your stuff out, so even if it is open, it's still going to be very secure. It does have a bit of a thin strap, especially opposed to some of the other bags that I've shown, but if you don't overstuff this, I think that it can be quite comfortable. This might be a good option. Or of course, perhaps something similar that you have in your own collection. I've just grabbed some bags today to make you think about options, or to make you think about parameters that you might want to consider. So the final pick I'm gonna do here, this is not one that you can wear as a crossbody. This is the Longchamp Pliage bag. This is in the size large, but you can also go with a smaller size. I would recommend going with one that has straps that you can wear over your shoulder. So if you want to go especially for a bit of a bigger bag, this might actually be a really nice option, because they're made of nylon, they're not very heavy, and they always have a zipper closure, which I feel is very secure. You can also close it off with the snap button over here, but frankly I even don't really do that. This is a nice option because this is water resistant. It tends to rain quite a lot in the Netherlands. Weather can be very unpredictable, especially in March and April. We can have beautiful months, but they can also be awful. But sometimes we also end up having very rainy summers. So I would always recommend that you go for a bag that you can take out in the rain, or at least have out in the rain for a little bit. Perhaps some other tips that were not captured in the bags that I have over here. First of which, avoid backpacks. There are exceptions, of course, but I would be very cautious wearing a backpack that is easily accessible, and perhaps the worst thing that you could be carrying is a luxury backpack. I heard a podcast a while ago of somebody in Amsterdam who actually collaborates with the police over there to point out pickpockets, like he's sort of a pickpocket hunter, and he also stated being a very obvious tourist with a luxury backpack is just gonna be a very bad idea. You're gonna get targeted. You might think that you are at the biggest risk of getting pickpocketed when you're just walking out and about on the street. There's basically two major risk factors which you don't necessarily have to encounter on the street. So one big risk factor, if people have an opportunity to come very close to you. So this might be in situations where you are in public transport, for example, so that it's just really crowded in a train or in a metro, and people have reason to stand very close to you. Then they are also very close to your personal belongings, obviously. And the other thing is just when you are not paying attention. So it could be that you are not paying attention because you are sitting on a terrace having dinner. You might not be paying attention because you're making pictures. Honestly, sometimes I even see tourists like either dropping their stuff or putting their phone or their camera a couple of meters away from them to make a picture or to make a selfie. And although it's probably gonna be fine, like 99 out of 100 times, I would not recommend to be doing that kind of stuff. But in any case, distraction is a major factor, and something that people will often not really pay attention is when they're shopping. If you're in a store and you're just browsing, you tend to be distracted, and that's also where pickpockets tend to strike, at least over here. So yeah, let me just repeat that this video is really by no means a way to try and scare you, or try to scare you not to come to Amsterdam. I think it's a really interesting city to come visit sometime, especially for just the history and the architecture and the cultural things that we have and the museums. For luxury shopping in itself, I would not per se recommend it. We have the Bijenkorf, which is a luxury retailer in the Netherlands, and they do have a beautiful store, so do go visit it if you're in Amsterdam. And then there's the PC Hoofdstraat, where you will have some of the boutiques. But if you really want to go luxury shopping, I would just take the train down to Paris and do it over there. But yeah, if you do come visit, just at least try to keep these things in mind. Amsterdam is not dangerous, not by any means, but it does have these bigger city issues that you would find in any major city in Europe. And it can really just ruin your experience if you get pickpocketed along the way, right? So those are my thoughts for today. Hope you found it useful and or enjoyable. If you have any questions for me, drop them down below in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. Remember, for now, there's a style in a situation and a taste for everything, so don't judge, wear whatever the bag you like. Until next time, or as we would say in Dutch, doei!